Hello, everybody. Me, Avik Banerjee, along with me, Bishujay Kumar Das, my friend, my partner in crime, back again with Time Out Cricket Podcast. Some gloomy news coming from the Maharashtra side that they are again reinstating the lockdown due to the COVID pandemic. And Bishujay, do you think the Mumbai venue will suffer for this?
See, Logi, by the time the IPL schedule was announced, Maharashtra was the top, you know, contender for this. They were giving the maximum numbers for the COVID cases.
Right.
Uh, and only there was a big question mark over Mumbai. As of now, various news are coming that, like I read the news today morning only that Hyderabad and Indore is a backup venue for Mumbai. And
Okay.
I think it should be transferred because keeping so many members in a bio bubble, because not only the players, even the ground staff, the match personnel, because apart from 22 number or 30, 40 players, there are so many other people involved. So what about
Right.
them? How they reach home? Okay. So I guess it should be, but again, I feel within the couple of days' time, we will have more clarity on this thing. But you rightly said, situation is gloomy in Maharashtra.
Yeah, exactly. Because the news coming up from Maharashtra is not good at all. Already, the state government has announced almost a statewide lockdown for up to 30th April. And in this situation, I think obviously there is no space for audience in the ground. It was already discussed. It was already decided in beforehand. But to me, I think it will be a little bit of risky situation for the IPL committee to held matches in Mumbai right now. So I think that's something we have to look forward to. Another thing. Now this one is not so gloomy. It's more of a kind of a fun thing happened last night between Fakhar Zaman and Quentin de Kock. So this funny incident happened that Zaman was on 193, absolutely brilliant innings from him, but things end up very weird manner because he was about to take a run and he was about to finish. He was about to hit the finish line when some distraction, as the media from the Pakistani media, they are saying this is a kind of a distraction, a false call came up from Quentin de Kock that the bowler is throwing, the fielder is throwing to the another end, and Fakhar Zaman like let his speed a little bit lose out, and he got run out in this case. So Vishajay, your thought on this? It was a very funny incident, to be honest.
Over yesterday, I was watching part of the Pakistan South Africa match.
Right.
I rather started watching from the 40th over. Okay, this match reminded me more of a India versus England third ODI, where England was in a similar situation, 210 for 7. Pakistan was also like that situation. And one batsman was carrying the mantle. Now, Fakar played an incredible innings. That innings deserved
True.
a double century. No doubt.
True.
The way
No
he
doubt.
was hitting the ball, the way he was hitting the South African pacers and Tabrez Samsi, it was really incredible innings. Coming back to the point, I saw that video, I saw it live, and I saw that video n number of times in Twitter and in YouTube. By no stretch of means I can understand that it was any distraction or it was against the law or against the spirit of the game because Quinton de Kock just wanted the fielder to throw towards the bowler's end.
Right.
Or he was like he was showing something or he was like signaling something towards the bowler's end. Fakar Zaman had to just reach his crease, nothing else. There was no hindrance towards his running. No one was blocking his guard. No one was even telling anything to him directly. He just had to run on a straight line. Instead of that, he was looking back. He was looking whether his partner was reaching the crease or not. That was a brain fade to say the least. He should only if he would have run in the straight line, he would have reached the crease. So now what happened that you cannot blame QDK that he was distracting because I thought it was nothing sort of any distraction. It was just foolish running from Fakar Zaman's part.
Yeah, Fakhar Zaman already admitted the same thing in press meet that he was like focusing on the fact that whether Harris has reached his the finish line or not. But in the process, he didn't follow the ball is coming to his way. So definitely, it's not. basically Daycock's fault, because Daycock just took the advantage of the situation, and everybody tried to win. Another thing, and it's a fun fact, I would say, that maybe Daycock didn't want another double centurion against them, like Sachin Tendulkar did it once. So I think that is something again they were looking into.
No, see, I will just add one point to you towards Quinton de Kock and Fakhar Zaman.
Right.
If you make cricket so rigid and stringent, then you need robots on the field rather than human beings.
True.
When you need robots on the field, there should be no interaction, no communication. Just do so it will become very monotonous. See, I saw that video n number of times, and you can conquer whatever you like from that video. If you want to be on the victim side, you can be. You can say, okay, they were distracting me. But I didn't find any distraction towards the batsman directly. There was no blocking of path. There was no word spoken to him directly. In fact, there was no even calling to the batsman directly. So Fakhar was looking back at the partner. Now, when you are running, you take care of your end. The partner will take care of his end. You cannot do anything towards that part. So he just had to follow the straight line and cross the crease. Now you cannot come try foul. You cannot try foul after this thing that like because he was looking back. So I think it's just a foolish running and nothing else. It was a very sad end to a brilliant innings. A sad
True,
end.
true. He took it very casually, because I saw the footage, I saw the run out. He took it very casually, and definitely it's a very sad end to a brilliant innings. I think, uh, like, I don't know how to explain the whole thing, but
Oh,
I
just
really feel sad for Fakhar Zaman.
on a lighter note, in the past also most of the Pakistani batsmen running has defied logic. Okay, many logic. So because that was, as I said, a sad end to a very brilliant innings.
Even if he had scored 2 runs more, then he would have crossed that legendary innings from Saeed Anwar, and become the highest ODI score, individual score for Pakistan. The next question that all comes to my mind, that do you think, like, I don't know, Babar Azam, their star batsman, is now under the radar because of their captaincy pressure on him? What do you say?
Babar Azam is a fantastic batsman, to say the least. He is the star player of Pakistan. I feel right now Babar Azam to Pakistan currently is what was Sachin Tendulkar to India in late 90s, early 2000, where he was the sole match winner.
Right.
I sense from the Pakistani batting lineup, if Babar fails, the batting will fail. And if Babar clicks, the batting will click. See, Babar Azam is a fantastic player. His straight drive, his cover drives are treat to watch. The I feel like he has a lot of time in his hand, whether playing fastest bowler or the spin. He has a lot of time in his hand. But he is only alone carrying the mantle of the Pakistani team on his shoulder.
Let's talk about South Africa now. Not at all at their best. Gone those days where they had a strong batting lineup, they had a very good bowling lineup, excellent fielders. What happened to them? What actually is currently wrong with South African team?
Rohit, unfortunately, I guess the Kolpak deals and many of the major South African players are playing in some other countries, some other leagues. They have let go of the South African jersey, the cricket team. I guess one of the major reason for this is that I guess there is some quota system in the team.
Right.
As I said, gone are the days. I remember in like not even like way back in my childhood, but even 10 years back, Graham Smith, Herschel Gibbs. If you look down the batting order, Jack Cullis, okay, yeah, you name them. Okay, they had a lot of all-rounders, mean fast bowlers. Okay, whether it was Makaya and Tini, whether it was Morne Mokel, an all-rounder like Albie Mokel, okay, Roger Telemarkis. So yeah, the list goes on. Charles Langerfeld. So the list goes on. What happened to them? Currently, only Kagiso Rabada, Andre Noge. These are the only two out-and-out fast bowler. All-rounder Andel Fokukwawo, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. He is just bowling slower balls, slower straight balls, the batting not that threatening. spinner, the spin department after the departure of Imran Tahir is totally empty. So South African team is not unearthing any more new player, new talents.
Exactly. If you look at South African, even to add with your points, the current South African board is going through some financial pedals right now. Their T20 league got cancelled, so from the money point of view as well, they are not at all in a good position. And if you look at the performance of the cricketers, well, it's very evident that the certain players are looking forward to these domestic leagues, or rather to the international leagues like IPL or Big Bash, rather than concentrating on the South African national commitments. So that is a very sad state of
Okay,
affair for
from
South Africa.
South Africa, I would like to come to our arch rival, Pakistan. Not so arch rival now. I will take you back to your childhood when in our school days, I will name few players: Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunis, Akib Javed, Shakil Mustaq Ahmed, Shoaib Akhtar. These are the bowlers who our batsmen used to face, and their batsmen Inzamamul Haq, Yunis Khan, Yusuf Yuhana, or Mohammad Yusuf, Amir Sohail, Saeed Anwar, Salim Malik, Izaj Ahmed. What has happened to the Pakistan team?
I don't understand the logic of currently the logic of the selectors right now. Their PSL got cancelled. Now PSL, I don't know how the Pakistani Cricket Board (PCB) is controlling the whole affair, because I don't understand how they're what is the definition of bio bubble?
Yeah, just to second, I saw some pictures on the internet that certain, I will not name certain players, international players, took some selfies with the fans. Now, biobubble, what little I understand, is that you cannot mingle with anyone outside of the bubble. Come
Exactly,
what may. So how can
exactly.
you take pictures? How can a marriage party happen on the same hotel, on the same floor, or they're using the common lift? Now, in today's time, whatever little I understand about, you cannot beat these things. But coming back to my main question, what happened to the Pakistan team? Like, if I ask you to name top two, three Pakistani players who can take the world with storm, hardly one or two name comes to mind.
Just to relate with the point from where I started, PCB's inaction in this kind of scenarios, like not able to contain players in the buy bubble, reflects the same thing on how they are selecting their players. I don't know, they had so many talents. I know Pakistan is full of talent. Pakistan is full of talents. We have seen in Shoaib Akhtar's channel, he has repeatedly saying that they had a load of talents which are not getting utilized properly.
Yes,
I want to point out one player, Harry Sohail. I don't know where he just gone off air. I don't understand, where did he go? He
uh,
was such a
I will just,
talented player.
will just second your point. That player was there on top of my mind. In the World Cup, Harry still, I guess, made one century, 150, something like that. He had an
Exactly.
average of 48 runs on average, you know, after 5 or 6 games, like after the World Cup. Suddenly,
Right.
he's not in the team. And what I read in the news that there was some big, like injunction between Babar Azam and also the PCB, where the PCB didn't allow Babar Azam to choose the players of his choice. Harry Sohail was one of the player of his choice. Now I am looking into the Pakistan this team, whether it was the South Africa tour in Pakistan or Pakistan tour of South Africa. You have a very inexperienced middle order. What if any day Babar Azam fails? What if any day his one fails? There is no one
Nobody,
in the middle.
nobody is answering these burning questions. That is the reason why Pakistan is right now a kind of a dead end. They
Another
are
thing
performing.
I would, another thing, Ovi, I would like to point out another thing
Yeah.
which I feel is very injustice to the talent of Pakistan. They are playing too many lower quality sides, whether in their home or outside of their home. So
Hmm.
what is happening? Playing those teams, some batsmen are getting run, their stats are increasing, but are they playing real quality? The biggest example is that when Pakistan toured New Zealand, they couldn't win a single game. When Pakistan toured Australia, they couldn't win a single game. Now, again, after South Africa, they are visiting Zimbabwe. They play Sri Lanka a lot of times. Now, what happens playing these low quality teams currently, pardon my language, so they only stats are increasing. But are they playing real metal?
This is one point I want to add. I don't know how ICC is allowing such things. I know there are the discussion goes on between two boards and they decide a series, then ICC approves it accordingly. But how ICC is approving again and again series against Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka? I don't understand this.
So I would say this what like Mr. Bishop said, Ian Bishop. This is what Mr. Ian Bishop said that he would rate Babar Azam on the higher category if he has a better sample size. Sample size means centuries against bigger team, and I totally agree with that. Sachin Tendulkar or even Inzamam Ullah, Yunis Khan, Yusuf Yuhana didn't become great batsmen by playing against Zimbabwe or a lower quality team. They scored against top bowlers. Babar Azam is currently a great player in Pakistan. To be the great in the world cricket, he needs to play against the best and score against them. See, I would love to see Babar Azam scoring a century against Australia, against New Zealand consistently, against England consistently. Because to be great, you need to score against the great. So, anyways, so we would like to finish off our this discussion on yesterday's match. I thought it was an interesting match, and we should have this discussion.
Right.
So, our next video on IPL is coming soon, shortly. Before we leave, please like, share, subscribe to our channel. Please be a part of this channel. Do comment, comment on a comment box if you agree with the thoughts. Like, we would love if someone, if you don't agree with us, do right. If you agree with us, do right. And give us
Exactly. Criticism is highly appreciated because we want our critics. We want to know what you liked, what you disliked. Thank you again. Thank you very much for attending our session. We'll be back with another video next time. Thank you. Bye bye.